I didn't even get mm, I'm trying to find which yeah, okay. I gotta get my music right. Hold up. All right, hold up. What is this little okay. I was what was this doing? All right, I got it. We got a little not thing going there. See, now it's annoying me. Practice like that. I hate what the I hate what the TV you can't everything is backwards. See now I'm annoyed. Okay, now I'm annoyed. All right. We got that together. Hello, everyone. Welcome to One Message in a Bottle Tarot. My name is Juan. I am your spiritual advisor. Hello, welcome back to all my beautiful messengers all around the world in your respective places. I appreciate and I love you so very much for every single thing that you do. Number one, being a subscriber, liking my videos, sharing my content, connecting with me in the comments because I do love to hear from you. Uh, all the love you guys show me through your tips and donations are very much appreciated. If you're new here, you're more than welcome to stay and join our psychic family. I would definitely love to have you here. So make sure you lock in and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Of course, like the video. When you like my videos, it helps to put my beautiful, insanely accurate psychic readings out to the world for people to hear and heal. Also, when you like my videos, it helps to promote my work in the algorithm. That being said, I am available for personal psychic readings. Okay. That information is always available in the description box and the bio. You may book by emailing me directly, or you can book through VIP Patreon at a discounted rate. You receive one psychic counseling reading from me monthly, and included with that reading is the all access tier. All right. Now, there are many tiers in VIP Patreon because I cover a wide variety of topics world predictions, politics, royals, K pop, celebrities, true crimes, etc. But the all access tier, what I promote primarily, gives you access to all of my psychic readings on um, all of my YouTube platforms and all VIP psychic readings. Okay, so you don't miss out on anything. All right. Thank you, everyone that has joined. Thank you, everyone that has joined members. All right. For those of you that don't want to join Patreon, you can join the YouTube members channel. All right. For exclusive psychic readings. And don't worry, VIP, those readings will also be available in Patreon also. All right. That being said, my psychic readings are for God's purposes only. Let the receipts and records show that I know what I'm talking about. Receipts, records, confirmations of my psychic predictions can be found. All right. Uh, on the community board. All right. Here and VIP, there are certain things I don't release on here prediction wise. That are only in VIP. So that is where you need to be regardless. Okay. So you can always be kept up to date to know what's going on. Hello. I know. It's been a little second since I've been here. Just thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay. It's been a really challenging time for me since inauguration. All right. So I've been trying to do some self care. Those of you that have been here since the beginning, I talk a lot about um, being targeted, a target individual, and all of the challenges I face, harassment, gang stalking, all of that. And the person who is in control of that is the president of the United States. And so, with all of my dedicated work and efforts, okay, to just, uh, well, I've been doing it. There's nothing new. I've been here for a while, just doing it just because that's what God called me to do. But it was no, I don't know why that happened. Um, a lot of individuals in the targeted community were holding their breath, waiting to see if after the inauguration, because of the many promises that President Trump made, a lot of those in the targeted community were waiting to see um, if he would do as promised, as a lot of the foundations, okay, that he campaigned on. Um, the weaponization of the legal system, all right, and righting a lot of those wrongs. And millions of target individuals woke up around the world to find that they were still being gang stalked, they were still being followed, they were still being harassed, their food was still being tampered with, poisoned. They were still being surveillanced, okay? Their money was still being stolen, YouTube, okay? All of these things. So, yes, I've been kind of just in mourning with my community. Now, granted, it's only been a couple of days, but you see how swiftly some actions are going, okay? And this is another thing. It's illegal government experimenting, okay? And these are we are innocent American civilians, okay? And a lot of the stuff is coming out, all right, about the Havana syndrome and all these things. I know this has nothing to do with the topic at hand, but this is just to bring you up to date because I am the medium, I am the vessel. So it's like you have to know what's going on with me, right? Here to just bring this all together. So anyway, I've been in mourning, just uh, prayerful, okay, solitude with the targeted community, okay, just practicing a lot of self care, and in the midst of that, being trolled here by government officials. Even right now, the president himself trolling me about my views. Those of you were here last year when my channel got targeted. I was in YouTube jail over nothing, over things that have since been proven. My views attacked, they plummeted. All right. And you can go on Truth Social, you can go on X right now and see the subliminal um, targeted attacks by the very person that made holy and Christian vows, okay, to stand up for those individuals like himself that were wrongfully, allegedly, okay, I guess in his case, targeted, all right, by a weaponized legal system. So, and I just had to say that because I feel it's 2025 and people just, I don't know, people just feel like because where they are, who they are, I'll be silent. I won't say anything. That is not it, baby. There's like, okay, uh, there's no point, okay, in not telling the truth. Okay, so I'm going to tell the truth. It's my truth. It's my story, and I have a right to tell what's going on in my life. Okay, um, now the fullness of that and all of that. Whenever I'm comfortable, okay? But it will happen. But yeah, no, I feel at this point like nothing is really going to stop me from speaking on that and being very truthful, straightforward, transparent, all right, and authentic about what's been happening to me. It seems like every time, people will be like, oh, just shut up and do the reading. Oh, just shut up and let me feed off you. Oh, just shut up. And, and no, I'm not. Okay. I'm not. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to advocate for me but me. At the end of the day, nobody's going to tell my story uh, but me. Nobody's going to tell the truth, okay, and represent and validate millions of targeted individuals all around the world that are being psychologically, again, tortured and harassed, okay, illegally experimented on, implanted, um, with chips. You talk about AI and all of these revelations and what they plan to do to the human population here. It's very, very real. And a lot of people, they were able to kind of key, so to speak, because, oh, that's happening to you. It isn't happening to me. But, darling, if it's happening to me, if it's happening to millions of others, then and where the test run or the test trial, then baby, what does that mean for you? Right? And so again, a lot of the predictions that I have made are coming to pass. I've been putting a lot of them on the community board. Just because I've just been my character assassination and all kind of things. Yeah, 111. Okay, all kind of things that have been going on. Just people telling outright blatant lies and competing where they can't compare. I don't know why. I mean, I do. It's a lot of men just, I guess, jealous of women. I guess they don't like women. They said the WHO was having a conference and they were requesting a lot of trans escorts, allegedly, apparently. Okay. And so that's a lot of the reasons, okay, for the targeting and basically the trafficking, illegal surveillance, all of these things, right? Here that are going on. And so again, I say, there are those that want us to be silent. There are those that, kind of that shut up and dribble. Okay. No, this will never be that. Okay. It will never be that. Um, because I'm innocent. I'm innocent and I'm black. I'm beautiful. I love the Lord. The Lord loves me. And in no way, shape, or form, for any reason, because there are like real criminals and shit out there, right? There are people killing people, raping, like criminal. Hell, the government, they criminals, okay? Like, so for it to happen to a single mom from St. Louis, raising two kids, for these celebrities, government officials targeting children in the system. Um, again, a single mom like me from St. Louis and somebody just to say, "Oh, that's a black girl, young black girl with two kids." Nobody's gonna give a fuck about her. Hey, let's basically enslave her, illegally experiment on her, target her children, target her family, turn her family against her. Uh, my son, don't even know, target, like literally, son, my whole entire family. This goes back, speaking of Nazis, right? You remember the Nazis, they decided, I think what was this, like 80 years ago? Um, their whole deal was only certain people should be allowed to live, to function in society. A lot of those were people of autism, of black people, various races, whatever their criteria. So we're seeing a lot of the same constructs, all right? But a lot of these constructs were being done on the low, okay? Hence this targeting system, target individuals through the FISA program. Okay. But now they're being very loud about their targeting. And again, a lot of these things I've been telling you guys about the rights being stripped, a lot of the SCOTUS rulings being reversed. Okay. Um, and again, just this Nazi like extremist type movement coming forward, right? So, these are the times where you definitely be prayerful. Pray for me every day. Um, Again, because when you are born into a system, prayers up for the Palestinians and just all people in all different forms of oppression. But when you are born into a system of oppression, when you are an innocent person, think about the whistleblowers and again, it's like we ain't did nothing, I ain't did nothing, but tell the truth, and yet we are a target for people, for evil people that want to do all manner of horrific, disgusting, inhumane, satanic, demonic uh, things, right? For pleasure, for sport, for profit, right? And all we do is say, "Hey, this is what happened to me. This is what's happening," and that also to be targeted, to have your life threatened. Okay, if you speak up, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt your family. I'm going to do, or and then do that. Okay, here, yeah, these are times when just be present. Just because people are online, and they're doing content for your entertainment. I mean, I giggle and I have personality, but uh, I love to educate and help people first and foremost. All right, that is the gift that God blessed me with. But always be mindful that people every day are going through the most inhumane, unimaginable, okay, horrific things, right? I can't even go to the grocery store and get normal food, the foods that I eat, without somebody or something tampering with it, trying to harm just and for what? Why? Because I'm innocent and I say I want to be free and you need to free me and you need to stop this horrific illegal experimentation and all these millions of Americans that are hunting down people and harassing them and targeting them and getting paid to do it. You don't even know me. You don't even know any of these people. Like, and some of you here watching, okay, are these very people that are harassing and targeting people. Uh God, okay? I can't even say God help you because you've chosen to work for the devil. But again, you have knowledge of this, and there's this comfort in saying that because it's happening to me or the next person or somebody that you know, even if it isn't somebody being a target individual, it could be somebody being abused or molested or financially abused or hurt or discriminated against. There's this thing, oh, well, that's happening to them. So I'm safe over here. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to do anything because, I'm fine. No, you're not. Okay. No, you're not. Your time might not be today, but it definitely could well be tomorrow. Okay. Glorilla. Hallelujah. Okay. Here. So, I just wanted to say that and speak to that because there are individuals that feel like, these government entities, programs, CIA handlers, remote handlers, uh, people are being implanted with these nanotechnologies, okay? Their bodies being attacked. You wonder how, after the pandemic and people were dropping here left and right, it's because of these various systems and the things that they are doing to for experimentation. Again, shits and giggles. There is no real purpose. Maybe world population control, and it's not just the United States, it's all over. So again, we are family in this. It may not be your time today, and that's not me projecting or wishing anything on you. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but I still have to tell you the truth, right? That these are the things that are happening. These are the agendas. And in one way or another, okay, one fashion, one form or another, okay, these are things that you are experiencing, will experiencing, have been experiencing. You just don't know it. Okay. You just can't put a finger on it. Some of you are like, oh, I'm just sick, or oh, I'm just dizzy, or oh, just this and that. And not even knowing the fact that, there are whole agents and beings and targeting people, harming people, innocent people, all right, with DEWs, direct energy weapons, the wildfires. We talked about that, how that is no coincidence. These are purposeful um, acts, school shootings, uh, all of these things that you see. The world is, in fact, a stage. All right. So I'm sorry. Well, not really. I just feel like it's my duty to kind of red pill a lot of you here that these are the times, okay? I've done my best to try and prepare you for what is coming, what is happening, all right? And those of you that received it, uh, again, it's hurtful, but I feel like you're okay. You're adjusting and you're gonna move accordingly, right? But for those that didn't take it seriously, I reaffirm and recertify that yes, we are finally here. Uh, the last days, so to speak. All right. Golden era for who? I don't know. Okay. They made it seem like it was for the victims and the TIs and all of that. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, okay? Because again, a lot of people are still getting tortured. A lot of people are still being mocked, and their only crime was telling the truth at one point in life. Telling the truth. That's part of the Constitution. Real freedom of speech. All right. Not freedom to spew hate. Okay. Like hate is whack, extreme whack. It's low vibrational, Neanderthal type of thinking. All right, the idea that one uh, culture, ethnicity, or whoever is better than another. Like that's not what the true God. That's not what He created for us. That's not what He wanted for us. And it's sad when you have a small group of people that feel like they deserve to live and they deserve to thrive, they deserve to have, and the rest deserve to have not. And even some that are in those positions, okay, of wealth or whatever, the things that they had to sacrifice, the things that they had to sell, the things that they have to overlook and pretend like they don't see, okay, uh, to have the things that they have, right? I always say, don't envy the rich, don't envy the famous. You don't know what they had to give up to get there. And a lot of it was their soul, right? All right. So I just want to be clear where we're at. I come on here, I do my psychic readings as God called. All right. As God has called me since I was a young person. I can see, I'm coming to an understanding why, my family kind of sold me into slavery, into trafficking because again, as I was young and coming up, I was always the one speaking the truth, you know, uh, to my father. What do you mean you're cheating on my stepmother with this lady in a whole nother state and getting backhanded for it? And to my mother, what do you mean you should be up cooking and helping us? What do you mean you're not coming home to and getting thrown across the room for that? I am a baby of the system, and didn't have any idea that they track kids in like foster systems and things of that nature once you're in it. So, um, it's not all by coincidence, all right? But again, since the beginning of time, I've always been that truth teller. I've always been able to see and look to individuals and situations, regardless of whether they open their mouths or not, and being able to call and speak the truth of that. And I was on a very karmic path before being um, listed or blacklisted on the target individual system and essentially trafficked. My children being trafficked over the dark web, illegally surveillanced, having people harvest all of my ideas. A lot of these famous people are famous because of the harvested ideas of those enslaved under the target individual system. A lot of these target individuals, when they speak out and they say, so and so stole my ideas, so and so, that's from me, that's from my mind. They're being absolutely tortured in their homes all around the world. Again, these are innocent people. I wish I was joking. I wish this was, you know, but it's real. It's real. And I don't know about other people. I know I'm a girl from St. Louis, from the hood, and there are people that know me, and everybody that knows me, they know I'm not a liar. They know I'm not a troublemaker. They know I'm not a thief. In fact, they know I'm one of the most brightest, probably happiest. Okay, will just give anything, do anything for anyone. Um, here, genuine, loving, like they know this. Did that stop them from joining the bandwagon and targeting me for choosing themselves? And some will say, well, oh, it had to, well, it was either you and me. So I guess that's not really an excuse, especially if you call yourself a person of the cloth or in church or a follower of Christ. Because if you're a follower of Christ, that means you're to die for your brothers, right? But anyway, digress. Um, those that know me, like they know and they are able to speak. At least those that are honorable, because it is some fuck people, right? That will just lie for clout, and they will just lie because of time, in their life that they're getting in any attention. All right. Imagine having people jealous of you because you're being targeted and harassed, and they join in because they're like, well, even if you're getting hurt, well, what makes them so special? Okay, there's nothing special about being trafficked. There's nothing special about being tortured, all right? Um, at night, okay, there's nothing amazing or great about sleep deprivation, all right? And some FBI agent remote handler screwing with your bodily functions and um, manipulating your emotions and um, messing with your heart. Messing, okay, like it's not a joke, okay? Uh, the way the government and these different companies play crazy to you guys, to the public, that technology is so far advanced, right? Damn near the stuff that they release to you as new as like maybe the beta program. They're already like 10 years ahead, okay? They're actually able to do these things. So again, you have people from my hometown, at least the real ones, they will tell you, like, no, she 100. No, she like, what do you mean? Right? And I think real people know that. I think real people recognize real. They know I'm 100. And there are many that are unhealed. And because they are unhealed, they're like, yeah, let's target them. Let's join in, because bullying is fun. Yeah, it's not fun until the rabbit's got the gun. It's not fun until it's you, right? And most people do these things because they feel like it'll never happen to them. They feel like it'll never be them, right? Until it is. So I wanted to do. I'm definitely gonna have to. Well, I guess this is the video for that. Okay. And then I'll just proceed with my other video. All right. Because this wasn't planned, but I guess it just needed to happen. I guess it just needed to be said so people could know and understand that I'm not afraid of talking. I'm not afraid of telling my story. I'm not crazy. I'm not uh, anything. Okay. When you have people going behind the scenes and you try to contact people to like tell your story, and they pay people off, or they say, well, don't answer them, don't answer their call, here's a couple of coins, ignore them, all of that, like people feel like, oh, they got you in a jar, they've got you in MLK Ultra. What, it ain't none of that. Okay, I just protect my peace because it's a lot to process. The level of depravity, the level of evil. All right. When you go and you used to live in a world where you had the protection of that bubble and you're just like, oh, this is the world, this is people. And you knew there were bad people, you knew fucked up things happen, you knew crime happened, just the regular brainwashing. But the Matrix, right? Like Neo, when you wake up in the Matrix and you're just like, whoa, I didn't know there were like I didn't know. Like, should you see in the movies, or you think it's the movies, or you hear it on the news. Like, no, I didn't know that people would just hurt you because somebody told them to. I didn't know that people would do that even though they knew you were a good person. People that will prey on children. Here, like, it's just a lot. So that's where I've been. All right, I say all that to say, you know, it will all be spoken about. Maybe in chronological order, out of chronicle. I don't know. But I felt, I guess it's God. Okay. I don't even know what sign the moon is in today. But maybe it just needs to be said. There's no fear. I'm not scared. I don't okay. It's been 20 years. Okay. My daughter was born in '06. Okay. Day in and day out, 24/7, against thousands of people from St. Louis to the West Coast, okay? Financial abuse, racism, discrimination, assassination attempts, okay? People playing with my car, poisoning, tampering with my food, sabotaging my YouTube channel, breaking into my all manner of things. Bullying. Let's not even talk. Okay, the bullying. According to these people in the government, I guess I'm fat or something. I don't know. I don't know. I get bullied about that too. That's part of my target. Is my targeting is I'm fat. That's what they say. Say I'm fat. Okay. I guess. Okay. There is no real point to it. Um, it's all on who, I guess, based on who submits you to this system, who targets you, and anybody can do it. Um, if you're a whistleblower, you work at a company and you try to expose, the truth, you try to save some lives, they can submit you to this government program for harassment and torture. Um, if you have family member, somebody that works government contracting agency, they can do it. Hell, maybe somebody in the system, maybe they swap you out for them. It's like, oh, if I get out early, then you can have this. I don't know, people. It's what you call sacrifice. And when you hear about celebrities, they get to these different places and they have to sacrifice. A human sacrifice to get these things, to have these things. And so that's what this kind of reminds me of, maybe family already in the penal system, and they say, if you let me out, yeah, I know someone you could target, you can have them. In my case, a celebrity abusing the system, a celebrity that was already an informant for the system. Curtis Jackson, as you know, 50 Cent during the Game versus 50 beef. I just said Game was my favorite rapper. Okay, like that's how I was just a kid. Like, hey, yeah, you really did that. Like, literally, that's it. And um, that's how I was found. That's how I was discovered on the internet when the internet was just coming, in the middle of this rap beef, because Curtis has this fixation type of personality. During that time where you've seen it, he destroys people's lives, right? I was just some girl in St. Louis, just a fan. Like, yeah, you go to like, yeah. Not even right. I just thought he was a better rapper. Honestly, like, oh, this is great. And Eminem, I think he lost his friend Proof during that time. And you know, um, Curtis found me through this contest I was submitting for. Wix through the game. Nelly was part of this rap contest. You submitted a rap, and you were able to be selected to like do a song or something like that. It was one of these things when I was aspiring to be a music artist, aspiring to be a rapper like Tupac and all this. So I believe that he found me through this website because again they were beefing and I was gaining garnering a lot of attention. And him already being an informant for the government agencies, okay, because of him being shot 9 times, whatever, child. Here utilizing that and saying, "Aha, I got somebody for you," submitted me as sort of a sacrifice. And the fact that again, I'm a woman. I was a young woman with young children in the hood from St. Louis. Most of my family is karmic. Okay, like what are they going to care? What are they going to do? You see this woman with young children all by themselves and say, "Yeah, I got somebody for you." Here, and whatever the favor, whatever the kickback, whatever the exchange is. But that was the start of it. And to have those same artists, I remember it like it was yesterday. So I said, nobody can gaslight me about, oh, this didn't happen. No, like motherfucker, I remember. Okay. I remember every detail. Uh even those that some they think they like automatically wiped, okay, through the illegal implants and experimentation that they do on target individuals and the public. Okay, a lot of you guys have operations. You go in, they're okay, they're implanting you. Okay, here we talked about one of the receipts on the community board about them slipping the vaccines in the food, right? That being a real thing. So I just say that as an example of how diabolical the system you live in is under. Anyway, I digressed. That is how I was placed on the list. I was submitted by 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson during this beef. And then I guess JCN, I guess he just didn't get, he just, I don't know, yeah, maybe it was the sacrifice off. Who can get her to whatever? And I don't know, maybe they collect coins and money. And all I know is that I've been harassed, stalked, and targeted. All my homes illegally surveillanced, my children, babies being trafficked over the dark web, terrorized and tortured um, since 2005. Every single day, every single day, every single day, 365 days a year, 24/7, mocked, made fun of, turning on the TV. I remember Ellen made fun of my underwear, bitch. I guess this is part of the little okay. Maybe God said, "Okay, get comfortable." Okay, here. I was all like, "Oh my god, I can't talk about it," but here I look at me. Here I am talking about it. Uh, just as calm, just as clear. It may be the ashwagandha, baby. I don't know. I was supposed to do a reading. Maybe this is the reading of my life. Okay, because maybe people thought I was joking, or maybe people thought like I don't know. They were trying to put out this story that people don't want to. People are tired of hearing it. Like, no, I don't think that's it. But anyway, I was saying since targeted 365 days, and again, having people know this, have everyone in my community know about this, being targeted by the police, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, um, stalked and trafficked again by strangers. These are strange people you don't even know, okay? Following you, and it's a lot of them motherfuckers, okay? Here and having the radio DJs get on air and talk about you know uh shit I was just doing in my house 5 seconds ago, okay? Um, Having Ellen get on her show and make fun of the underwear that I happened to be wearing at that time. I was like 20, 22 years old. There's an episode, you can go back in the archives where she pulled out these big ass white underwear, all right? Uh, and those were the underwear that I bought at the time because that's the money. That's all I had. But I remember waking up, just turn on TV randomly and seeing her pull out the very fucking underwear that I was wearing in my house. And that is when I discovered, oh my God, they bugged my fucking house. Oh my God. So that means they're coming into my home while I'm here. So that means when I'm changing and when I'm changing my baby or when I'm taking care, all of that is going out to millions of people. Somebody is profiting off of that. And then here's a celebrity like, and that was like, it wasn't I thought the people chasing me on the streets were weird. And it's because at first I thought I was like, oh, it's just I didn't know because I was just so young, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just this is just Jayceon, this is just because he was going on tour during that time, and, I was contacting him even after the contest. I lost the contest, but not even thinking of it, and so when it all happened, I don't know. I think it was just maybe I just disassociated or maybe it was just God, okay? Uh uh, God just went in and did a thing. I didn't I think the first day I did freak out because there were like I remember going outside and seeing um like the little sprinter, and at that time the game he was going on tour, and this is back in like the MySpace days and all that, and he had bought like the same type of sprinter. He was like, yeah, we're going on tour, blah blah blah. And so I went outside and I saw this. So I'm thinking like, oh, he saw me on the internet, and this is just like a cute little reality thing, and then it's just gonna be like, okay, uh, in 7 days, like, ta-da, I heard your verse, blah, 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 yeah, let's go to like okay, I held on to that for like at least probably 2 weeks until after I was like, oh my God, this is like, oh, something really fucked up is going on here. At first, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's just a little stupid little mini reality TV thing. And then he's just gonna show up at my door and be like, oh my bad, it's the hip hop version of Fear Factor. Gotcha. Okay, that's what I thought. Um, as they flooded my house with like a thousand mice and vermin and roaches and all kind of like I came home and my whole house was just flooded. Like they literally broke into my house. They had the local um um what do you call it, pest control or whatever. And again, every facet of people in the government, they're part of this, every company. So that means my landlords gave these people the keys, all right, to come into my place, release all this stuff into my apartment. Again, I never had problems before. And they're filming all of this. This is just for shits and giggles, and then selling this over the internet and profiting, right? Um, But anyway, I remember the first day, and again, coming outside, I saw the Sprinter that was identical to the Sprinter, the black Sprinter he was using to go on tour the game at that time. And that's what I thought. I was like, oh, he's in my city. Let me just play along. Ha ha ha. And then they're just gonna pop out and be like, surprise. And then I get in my car and I'm driving around, and then all of a sudden I see all of these US government license plate, like every other car, the US government license plate, they all had like the USA sticker on them, right? And they were just following me around, and they all had like these weird license plates numbers and hey one, because that was my, it still is. I mean, one is my name, but if you want to know the origin of one, that's my rap name is one, right? Um, and so I remember all these government vehicles, and even then, like at first I thought, well, maybe that's security for him, or maybe like I don't know, the government, the president in town. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not even correlating that this has anything to do with me. But I remember that just being chased everywhere by all of these vehicles with government tags and license plates. And, and I guess when I didn't get it at first, they started driving more aggressively and cutting me off, and people like mean mugging me and making all this work. And so I remember going home and just like, then I kind of freaked out and I was like, I called this guy I was dating at the time. I was like, "Babe, I don't know what's going on. I got all these weird people following me." And he was just like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want me to come over?" And I remember just crying. I'm just like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I got these people." And he was just like, "Yeah." Not even knowing then, okay, that he was part of it. Not that he was part of it, but it's just like, again, part of this TI system is they get your family in it. I don't know. I don't know. I guess they threaten your family or whatever. Everybody knows around you, right? But this was the first thing, of me finding out, like, okay, like, people know because I remember him coming over. I remember me crying in the hallway, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on." And, there's shit all in my apartment. There's, like, I lived on the fucking, like, 8th floor, or, what I mean? I lived on the top floor. Like, there's no way for all these vermin and shit to get in my crib, and what I mean? Like, I was like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on." And he was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he said something. He ended up saying something that I had said earlier in the day to myself as I was trying to process, getting stalked and getting harassed. Oh, okay, remind you, never get one of these Palo Santo with the damn dip because there's no way to control. And these are my favorite pants. I hope I didn't burn them. Okay, I think they're right. But anyway, he had said something that I had only said to myself by myself. And he said it during the conversation. And I'm like, "Where did you hear that from?" He's like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Why are you saying that?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "I didn't even tell you that. Why are you saying that?" "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." And then there's the gaslighting. And so again, there's this creepy ass moment where you're just like, "What the fuck?" And then I knew at that moment, I'm like, "Okay, so somehow he's part of this." So not even knowing that they go out and they I guess they put out this blanket banner to everyone everyone you're in contact with. Of course, your phone is cloned. All of your contacts are hacked, so they're contacting everyone. There is no safe space. That's the point of it, to isolate you. So they turn your family against you. Your family is harassing you, targeting you, playing along. I remember times I was fucking suicidal and my family was just sitting there like, "Oh my god, do you know that David fasted for 45 days to whatever?" And I'm like, "Bitch, I'm about to die. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" You know, anyway, it's neither here nor there. And so that was this is after finding out about their surveillance, okay? And that there were cameras in my home that I'm like, "Oh, okay, so everybody is getting notified about this." Again, I'm thinking that it's just like some horrible um hood fear factor, a part of this game, 50 Cent rap beef. This is the game, playing a game. It's going to be over. I just, like, I tried my best just to be like, "Oh, like it's not whatever." But not so. That was the first clue. I'm like, "Oh, they're part of this." And so, again, there's that invasion of privacy, your private information going out through cellular phone systems. So again, the tech systems are a part of this. My private information, my medical information, my thoughts via this illegal implant chip. Okay, all of these nanotechnologies that the government is using, right? Um, and again, people receiving my information through the phone system. Okay, like the level of invasion of privacy is so crazy, right? And that's why I knew, I'm like, "No, this is they were still the cause and they were still behind it and they were still very much profiting off of it in one way or form." But you know, it's not until 20 years later, um, getting to the West Coast, and um, it took me this long to get a deeper understanding of what happened for the first. 10 years, I was just going through hell. I was just being tortured, people laughing at me. They're filming this shit, they're streaming this shit. Y'all let me know my channel, okay? People around me knowing this is happening, me watching people, text the FBI or whoever, texting them back saying, "Oh, ask her this or do this to try to get a reaction." I'm trying to go normal places. People doing weird shit, attacking me, saying stuff, talking about my medical records and conditions out in public, like total invasion of privacy. I'm going to doctors that I have been seeing since I was a little girl and having these same fucking doctors look at me like a criminal. Look at me like a criminal. Bitch, you've been seeing me my whole life. You've been seeing me since I started my fucking period. And here you are acting like you don't know me. And here you are lying about my medical conditions, my treatment. You're sending out false information to the public about me. All right. Me watching family members and for everybody. There was nobody that was not willing to be part of the targeting. And you can't tell. At one point, I was like, well, maybe they're scared, but it was the smirking and it was the laughing and it was the me walking into various rooms and, uh, them doing whatever, whether it was wearing all black because I was supposed to die that week, okay, or whatever the fuck, okay. Um, just people taking pleasure in my pain was the most startling and unsettling thing because these were people I had known all my life. All right. And the fact that it was happening to me, now I know it's happening to millions of people all over the world. But now I look at these people like you were really torturing and stalking and harassing people like this. There's no fucking way. No fucking way you could ever. I don't give a fuck. And maybe that's another reason I'm here and not on the world stage rapping like I wanted to. Okay. I guess to get into the Illuminati, you gotta do some shit. You gotta torture some people. You gotta be okay. You gotta sacrifice a couple bodies. Okay. I guess it's just never been me. But again, I guess that's what made me the perfect target. And maybe that's why my family was willing to sacrifice me. Okay. Um, but yeah, like it's been 20 years, and again, watching celebrities make fun of it, know about it, but that's what they do. That's what they're paid to do. Okay, they're paid to distract you from the horrible shit that your government is doing, and they get perks for it. Kind of like gang stalkers on the street. They're paid to go do X, Y, and Z to you, and I guess they get a perk or a coupon. I watched all of my jobs being sabotaged, um, being blacklisted, people saying I did shit, shit being set up at various companies that I would work for, scenarios being set up. Let's see if she'll steal. Let's see if she'll, just weird. Just these people are so fucking weird, right? Let's see if she'll do this. Or, mind you, you're the fucking criminal. Mind you, they're the fucking criminals running these experimental games, kind of like simulations, kind of like they did for pre-COVID and all that, the pandemic. They ran the simulation first and then they put it out to everybody. The same shit. All of my jobs being sabotaged. I'm turning in work. They're like, "Where's your work?" I turned it in already. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Oh, okay. Oh, well, one did this and she did that, and oh my God, why is it like, no, I didn't. Oh, she's angry. She yelled at me. She cursed me. I did no such thing. So, okay, did no such thing. Uh, going to management. Look at what you've done to my home, and this, and them suing me for what the government had did to me, did to my home. Um, I remember the first days of, Again, I'm so young, mind you, I'm like just 21, 20. Again, I got this brand new baby. My husband had left, okay, here. Um, brand new baby. My son, he was probably what, like 8 or 9, something like that. Um, here, and not only had they flooded my house with all these vermin, they had I would go and I was hearing shit in the walls, right? And then come to find out they were putting pigeons in my walls, and so the pigeons were fluttering around and dying, okay, in the walls. This was back when, he came out with the video, hate it or love it, with the pigeons and shit. Like all of this shit is so fucking goofy. 555 on the clock, right? That's that confirmation, the angels. All right, here. But again, that's why I was like, it's a weird, fucked up reality show in any moment. All right, like I get it, the pigeons and the hip hop video and all of that. Okay, cool. When is this going? So mind you, the whole time I'm texting him, I'm like, okay, you got a concert in Georgia. I'll meet you there. I'm going through this crazy shit, but in my mind, and plus, I'm young. I don't know anything about government, CIA, none of this shit. Okay, I don't like. I'm just. It's a really horrific some type of reality show. I just gotta get to him, and then once I get to him, JC on the game, I'm like, it'll be over. It'll be done. Whatever. Not so. Okay. I remember texting on MySpace the whole time, like, yeah, I'm still making songs and this, like this shit is crazy. Like what's going on? Like this shit is, even though the shit it was like really fucked up what was happening to me, but I'm just like, again, maybe this is like the worst part of a horrific reality show, Fear Factor or Survivor, where you have to go through some horrific tests, and then when you prove, you know what I mean, then they're like, "Ha, you went like That's what I told my mind because, and I feel like that was God's protection because had I truly processed the torture and what was really happening to me, I probably would not be here. And so I just thank God. Um, I thank God for how He made me. All right, because I know the devil doesn't rob empty houses. Okay, I haven't been going through this for 20 years because I'm some criminal or because something is wrong with me. This happened to me because God did me right. God raised me right. That's why this has happened. Okay. So I do want to take time to acknowledge God for how He has covered and protected me uh, this entire time through this process here. Because I probably just wouldn't. I don't know. And there are many targeted individuals that have not made it, that ended up taking their own lives. That's the point of the program. They drive you crazy enough to where you're supposed to either take your life or they do something horrific, and you become, I don't even mention that because I don't bring that energy, but it has happened. A lot of these people that you see, again, you've seen it now, the uh, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day terrorist attacks, these children, these school shooters, these various things, people apparently out of nowhere, like going crazy and all that. Like, no, these are innocent people that were targeted by their governments. Okay, here. So again, I just thank God for uh however, whatever he did, because I'm still here. There were many days I didn't think I was going to be here. I had 2 kids, so I really had no choice because I had to raise them in the middle of being terrorized. But anyway, I digress. So he was going on tour, the game, and I'm still thinking it's just horrible one of the escape room um reality shows. I'm like, hey, your concert is in Atlanta. I'll meet you there, you know. Um, and then I drive to Atlanta, and and that was another thing. I was gang stalked. I had the cars following me, and I'm like, oh, they travel across state too. All right, that was the second clue that okay, this thing has far reached. But again, I'm like, well, if it's a reality show, and then they, of course, they're going to follow you. So long story short, I make it to Atlanta. I get the tickets to the concert. Couldn't really get up close because I'm just a broke bitch from the ghetto, STL. I really had no money, so I got as close as I could get. I wait for him to get off stage in the concert. I think I'm on like the second level. I climb up on the rails. I jump down from the second level to the first level to the first floor. Okay, like I jump, bitch. I'm scared of heights, right? But I feel I'm game. I'm like, this is a reality show. If I just get to him, all this bullshit stops, and it's just like, da. And so I jump off the balcony, I land on the floor, I run up to him, I'm like, "Hey, hey, hey." Mind you, I'm just like this little 21, like I'm like, "Hey," I'm about to give him a hug. "Wow, this is crazy. Wow. So good to see you." And he's like, "Hey." And all his little I forgot the name of his little crew, whatever. And I look up and I look around, there are like this cameras, and I'm like, hey, look at all you guys. Again, I think that I'm in this reality TV show moment, and I'm like, oh, the government cars, the stalking, them putting shit all in my house, the cameras, all of it, it's just a show, so I'm like saying hi to the people that I think they're just the producers of the show. And I'm just like, hey, so what's next? And then he looks down at me. He's like, I gotta go. And he like kisses me on my forehead and he's gone. And I'm just standing there just like what? Bitch, what? No, no, surely he's gonna meet me in the parking lot. Surely because what the fuck was all of this for? Like what the fuck is all of this? And after that, after he left me hanging, that's when it became like, no, baby, this is something worse. But even then I kept thinking any day now, uh, any moment, weeks go by, months go by, strangers harassing me. I'm being um, discriminated against, sued by, just people that are actively doing the shit in my house, and then they're suing me. Again, my kids are like all this shit, my family. I'm going to my and I, people are like, well, why didn't you tell your family? I could have my family sitting in front of my face knowing that this shit was happening to me and absolutely not giving a fuck. I had my own family, targeting and like bullying me. And so it's just like people were like, well, why didn't have the police chasing me? Um I don't have a headlight or a brake. Oh, your brake light's out. Okay, get that fixed. Okay. They know I don't have money to fix it. The police outside of my house the next day, ticketing me again. Get that. Okay, but you just ticketed me yesterday. Yeah, but I told you to get that fixed. Okay, yeah, but you just ticketed me yesterday. People can pull up my traffic history record, and you will see, like in the span of 2 years, how the police were literally hunting me down in St. Louis. This financial imprisonment. Okay. Um, I guess so. There was nobody to call. There's nobody to call when the police are targeting you. There's nobody to call when your family is a part of the terrorist terrorizing you. There's nobody to call when you go to the FBI and you say, uh, you go to tell them your story and you say, "Hey, this is what's happening to me," and they're like, oh, "What? What are you? There's no record of that. There's no okay." Of course, they got the call before I even showed up there. All right. Well, I don't believe you. You say what happened, ma'am? Who's illegally surveillancing you? Who what happened, ma'am? Okay, well, I don't know about that. We have no record of any of that happening. We're not gonna be able to help you, ma'am. I remember my next home, I'm being asleep and uh, I don't know, I thought it was just the weirdest dream, but I felt like this really hot sensation over the side, right just above my womb. I thought like maybe I'm in a aliens movie or something or whatever. But you know how you try to wake up? It's like one of them moments where you're in that deep sleep and you're trying to fight your way out of the dream to wake up. So I'm thinking that that's what happens. I'm like trying to wake up, like listen, and then I finally wake up and my abdomen is like burning, and I'm like lifting up my shirt and I'm trying to look like I don't see shit. Little red faint mark, but I'm like, what the fuck was that? Cause like my abdomen is like burning. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then not to after that, going to the doctor because now I'm like hemorrhaging out of nowhere. Never had a problem, never had medical problems before, but all of a sudden I'm hemorrhaging profusely. Now 20 years later, I know, that they do this to, I mean, you've heard all the horrific stories, okay, about the elite and people and, bodies go missing, people, organs, blood, all of that, right? I'm gonna just put that delicately, right? I didn't know that then, but yeah, all of a sudden I have I was having all these medical problems and all that I didn't have before. And I'm going to the doctor and they're just like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Nothing's wrong." Like, what do you know? The doctors who take an oath to help you, they're lying about what's going on. So all of a sudden I have, you know, I'm dealing with a medical issue and just like not even knowing what's going on, not even talking about the witchcraft that's done on target individuals by people in the industry. That's very real. Okay. It's not like, um, it's very real. Not only are a lot of target individuals psychologically and physically tortured, but they have all manners of witchcraft done on them to harvest their energy, their ideas. Their sacral chakra is manipulated. Um, it's a lot. Again, when this was happening, like in oh 05, oh 06, like, I knew nothing. I wasn't a psychic medium. I didn't know anything about um, spirituality. I was born Christian. And a lot of people, I talk about that being born. Um, all my grandfathers and forefathers being ministers and preachers and Pentecostal, and that being like the banner I was raised under. So I didn't know about all this, Hollywood occult and all. I just didn't know. I used to be curious. I did. I used to be curious about it and wondering, like, oh, like, the Freemasons and the Illuminati. I've always been, just interested in one way or another. I don't know why. I guess maybe that's somewhere part of my DNA here, but I just I had no idea um that I was being illegally experimented on. I had no idea that someone literally broke in my house while me and my children were sleeping, implanted me. And if they implanted me, I'm sure they implanted my children because now I can think about it. And I remember my son always complaining about his stomach hurting and, that anything happened to him or he can anything, with his stomach. And even my daughter, we all have issues with our stomachs. So, again, I know if I was implanted, my children were implanted, but like somebody broke into my house and my house was gassed and they did this to us. Right. I remember telling the story before the Christmas holidays on my Twitter and having Vivek Ramsey or whatever the fuck his last name is, the very next day, uh, saying something to that effect in a speech, in a speech that he made or a post that he made, referring to it. Um, Here, I forgot what he said, paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of what I said about. Um, People coming in the middle of the night and uh, violating rights and this and this. Okay, he didn't make it to the White House, but I guess that was the ancestors, right? Because that hurt me when I read that. But it was just, it's happened before. It's happened thousands of times. Again, it's been 20 years. I've watched many people in high places, even the presidents. I've been through four presidents with this. There was not an incident where Bush directly mocked me or Biden, but definitely Obama and definitely Trump on the 111. Here. Um, so it's not the first time. I'm used to this, but again, I didn't know then that I was being, that it was part of this. I didn't know about target individuals. I didn't know about the FISA program, which was the illegal, surveillance program that um, was supposed to be used after 911 for actual criminals, for actual terrorists. This was the green light for a lot of covert surveillance. And instead of just using it for that purpose, they said, hey, while we're in here, let's just get anybody that pisses us off. Let's just use this to, yeah, this is a new tool for trafficking. This is a new tool for harassing people. This is a new tool for um, enslaving and trapping women. Again, I know 20 years later, we live in a society that does not like women, does not honor women. 90% of the women that you see in the music industry, the film industry, whatever their respective places is, whether they have power or not, they had to come up under a system and sacrifice a lot of themselves, their dignity, and God knows what else to a system uh, under men that hate women, under a lot of men that are closeted homosexuals. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with people being whoever or whatever they want to be. Okay. What's wrong is that when you're not able to have peace with that and make peace with that, and when you're not able to live your truth out loud, that you turn that anger and that disgust with yourself onto innocent women, and you decide that they are they are just a commodity, and for them to have any headway in life, that they must be trafficked by you, that they must service you sexually, that they must be pimped out by you for to sell a record or to get in film. Okay. um, None of these things are by accident. It's right there. You can look on a lot of these celebrity women's profiles and you think they're just being sexy. You think they're just being, no, baby. They're prostituting. They have no choice. They're sex slaves. Okay. Trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking for these very depraved and perverse men. Like that is part, like I just, that's another red pill. When you realize that a lot of things and a lot of abuse happen to you just because you're being attacked by men that hate themselves, and because they hate themselves, I'm going to abuse women because women can't protect themselves. They're not abusing each other. All right. They're behind the closed doors, uh, having gay parties, orgies, or whatever. And that's fine, again, but it's the fact that they can't live their truth out loud because they've sold whatever lie and story to the public that women have to suffer because of it. Mhm. And a lot of women, again, that are in the targeted individual program and various other forms of trafficking, sex slavery from the person that's just an orphan or from a foster home in the hood to bitches you see right now on the red carpet. It's because they are women, right? That's it. Let alone the racism and all the other things. But yeah, um, so at that time, I knew something happened. I didn't really know. I mean, I knew it was something, but I didn't think that big of a deal. I didn't know that it was an actual tracker. I didn't know that the illegal implant had the ability to manipulate my body's systems. Some of you that have went down various what are not really conspiracy theory rabbit holes, and you've seen that the CIA and the government has various instruments where they don't even have to be near you, that they could just, uh, again, point something at you and all that. I didn't know that, that's what it was. Now I do. Um, now I do when I watch women, celebrities make fun of me every single month when it's time for me to come on my cycle and they know I'm going to hemorrhage. I watch them take their pictures and these blood red outfits, saying that they're going to drain me and harvest my energy for their next creative project. That's fun. And while it's disappointing, I've learned to just hurt people, and they're in no better situation than I am. Yeah, they have the lights, the glitz, the camera, and the action, but when all of those lights go off, they have to do horrific things behind the scenes. They're subjected to uh, horrific humiliation rituals, and so I'm not fooled by the glitz and the glamour and somebody saying, "Oh, I have this," and like, no, I know what you're really doing. I know what you're really being subjected to. I know what you're really going through. So when you make these subs and you make fun of me and you laugh at the idea that part of your career, uh, my life had to be, sacrificed, my children and all this um being enslaved so you could flourish. Okay. I mean, yeah, thank me. Send me some flowers or something. I don't know. Nicki Minaj. Okay. Drake. Okay. Kanye West. All right. Being tortured. And then everybody other people pick it up. It starts out with 50 Cent. And then what they do is brag because it went from the game of 50 Cent to Kanye versus 50. And then 50 bragging to Kanye. And at the time, again, I'm just thinking it's a really bad reality show and it's just hip hop hazing, whatever. I'm just making, I'm just trying to rationalize it because I feel like you know I just wouldn't be here if I didn't make up some excuse as to why these horrific horrible things were happening. And so he tells Kanye, and again I'm just like, okay, well, obviously I couldn't work with the game, so I'm just going to try to work for um Rock Nation and all that, not even knowing what I know to date, all right, that Jay-Z is like this huge, okay, and Diddy and all these things that we're finding out about these people. A lot of things coming out about Beyonce, like it was like this crazy supreme witch, like the worst. Oh my God. When that comes out, baby, okay. And people don't believe it, but if you go back in history, you remember she had that female band, and there was that drummer that tried to come public. She tried to tell you, like, no, I'm being harassed, I'm being stalked, I'm being filmed in my home. Witchcraft is being done on me. They're harming my family, they're harming. She tried to tell you, and people said, she crazy. No, she's not. No, she's not. She tried to warn everyone about these people, about these elites, and what they do with people. Why do you think the movies, the hunting movies come out? You hear these stories about they have these lodges, they pick up homeless people, people they feel nobody cares about, they release them, and then they go hunting them like they're animals. Like, no, a lot of these elites, our country is run by Satanists, occultists, um, that do just the most d- demonic things. And there are some that like, oh, they're just okay, and that's fine. You get the pleasure of staying in that bubble. I salute you. Okay, I salute you. But those of us that are really living it and know better, okay, we know the truth. All right, and we're not crazy. And I gotta take a moment to thank God and the ashwagandha. And a lot of people think that too. They're like, "Oh, she laughs, and so it must not be that serious." No, I promise, it's the grace of God. It's me being raised, my grandfather being a pastor, preacher, being raised in the church all my life, talking to God all my life. God has literally just been my best friend. But I want to take a chance, a moment to shout out God, and again, the ashwagandha for being able to talk about this lucidly and clearly, and not falling apart, because that has been um, a lot of what kept me silent for the past 20 years. It's been 20 years, you guys. 20 years, all right? Um, and besides them saying, "Oh, I'm going to kill you," and so don't talk about it. Don't you go live. Don't you tell people what we did to you, what we're doing to you. Um, but just the fact that it's humiliating, right? Just the fact that I wasn't able to defend myself. How can you defend yourself against millions of people? How can you defend yourself against, government officials and presidents and, these hip hop moguls that have billions of dollars and, the ability just to do, I'm just a girl from the hood, okay? But I blame myself for not being able. That was embarrassing, you know? Not being able to defend myself, and then also embarrassing to know that, like, your dad didn't defend you, okay? But girl, how you thought he was gonna defend you? He couldn't even stand up to your stepmother, so, like, you really thought he was gonna what, you know? Or maybe he didn't defend you because he was part of, the penal system, Yeah, my dad caught that big case, and it was one of those cases where you're not really supposed to get out for a very long time, but I remember him getting out on good behavior, and I remember them telling me to come home, and um, I don't know, okay, but it was the fact that he didn't protect me, my family didn't protect me. I believe in the final day. I believe my mother tried. They let my family know, and maybe at first they told them to get them to go along with it. Again, it's just a reality show. We're just gonna fuck around with her for a little while, then we're gonna let her out, and she's gonna be famous. They told some kind of lie. I don't know what they told them, but I believe at some point my mother was like, "No, you let her go. You let my daughter go." And my mother, she wasn't always in the best of, she had her issues, she had her deals, but suddenly she turned real, real sick, real, real fast. And, um, she was gone. I looked up one day and she was gone. And then when it was happening, I didn't correlate it. I didn't even think. I had no idea the extent of how far reaching the program is. Now my daughter is trolling and mocking me too. She's coughing in the background. That's what a lot of the gang stalkers do. Okay. To see my baby go from a baby to go to 20 years old, and for them to indoctrinate my daughter into this program that harasses me. That's another thing. But she gets paid. They pay her through her scholarships and schooling to harass me to do little gaslighting shit around the house. It's neither here nor there. But back to my mother. I believe that she uh, was the one that was just like at some point like, no, you're going to leave her alone, or I'm going to tell somebody, or you got to stop this, leave her alone. And then she went very quickly. And before I knew it, she was gone. She was dead. And then I'm just thinking, like, oh, she was sick. It never even crossed my mind that, because the government murders people, celebrities sacrifice people. Like, they do this, like, it's nothing for them, like, it's nothing. It never even crossed my mind that my mother was murdered and the doctors that are part of this program murdered her so she couldn't speak the truth or tell me the truth or tell me what was happening or how this was happening, because again, that's all I knew was it was happening. I just didn't know, you know I just didn't know why or how or what was really going on. So even with my mother suddenly being gone, you know my family stealing my inheritance, them telling everyone that, oh, make it so she thinks that her mother just never loved her and gave a fuck about her and she didn't leave her anything. I'm my mother's first child. Okay. I'm my mother's first child. And we didn't have the best relationship, but I know my mother loved me. All right. Um, but it was the fact that again they conspired. I have it's like if you could see my phone, it's like a million commercials going up right now. They're never this new commercials. Um, but it was the fact that some strangers were able to tell my family, like, yeah, no, her mother left her this, but you're gonna make it seem like she didn't leave her anything. Um, my mother had a home that she left to me. They were like, nope, 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 she left you nothing. There's so much stuff that's happened. I mean, I think about 20 years. So many things have happened, so many injustices, and that's the monumental part of it is, me along with millions of others. It's like, how do you get justice when you haven't? And that's the point. They overwhelm you, they overload you with so many violations, okay, against not only your body, your mind, your home, your finances, all of these things. Um, but I remember most of it, right? But I know my mother is gone. I know my son, I don't know. My daughter has a father, can't find him. And I believe that is by design because they isolate you from anybody that will be able to help you, and anybody that might have helped you before, they pay them not to. They pay them to target you. So, like a person that is in a home with, whether it's domestic violence or something like that. Like that is my situation, right? Um, so many things, so many assassination attempts um, by the government, celebrities alike, baby. Okay, just like it's just wild. I wish I was making it up. I wish it was like, I don't know. Um, it's by the grace of God I've gotten this far. The real God, not any God of any church I set up in, because I don't. There's not one pastor that has folded. There's not been one church member that has folded under this. So I know the difference between people who really are disciples. I know the difference between people who are really Christians, who really follow God. Um, because my predicament has shown that. And I also think that was by God's design. I remember having this vision when I was a child. Like God told me, He said, you will change the world, but first, you will change the world, but first, you're going to go through, I'm going to drag you, so to speak. I don't know how young I was, maybe 7 or 8, or maybe in my teens when I was in a shelter. Um, Here, I have so many. There's like commercials every 2 seconds. This is like not normal, but this is like what they do. There, let's do that. But I remember God saying, I'm going to use you to change the world. You're going to be world renowned. You're going to help people. But first, I'm going to drag you a little bit. You're going to go through it. And I remember that. But I was just thinking like, oh, this is because I was in the hood, and I've had like these different going through abusive relationships. I'm like, oh, that's the dragging that he meant. And no, but no, then this happened. And then I remember I said, oh God, this is what you were talking. Okay. Like, no, if you think about the disciples in the Bible, baby, they went through some shit. Okay. Like this is a little different. It's so interesting because I love stalkers, and I'm like, bitch, if you had to go through what you tried to put me through you would have been dead. And I think that's the point. I think they're mad because all of their tactics and torture and stealing from me. Baby, one year they stole my taxes. Okay. They've stolen my taxes. They've stolen insurance settlements. Uh, they've stolen, my mother's car that was given to me after she died. They tried to kill me. They hired someone to hit me full on from behind while I was at work on the job in a suburban neighborhood, not even on a busy street. I'm just in a regular neighborhood, sitting in front of a house, collecting my receipts, and this lady careens all of a sudden and just hits me and then careens into the damn near hitting the houses in this isolated a creek course, okay? Up in the hills where the rich people stay. Not random at all. At the and it's crazy because then it never even crossed my mind that they would hire somebody to hit me and try to kill me. It never crossed my mind. Uh, Not until maybe a month later when I saw that the car that the victim was driving, not the victim because I'm victim, that the villain was driving is the same car that the game had, the Chrysler. Remember the Chryslers that came out and they looked like the Bentley? Okay. Um, and during the 50 Cent and Game Beef, they actually came to St. Louis. They had their car submitted in the car shows. This was like during the beef, and the game was driving. He submitted his Chrysler 300 or whatever. He did a whole video promoting it. Anyway, I say that to say, they hired somebody to hit me in a middle secluded white neighborhood, okay? Um, to try and sacrifice me then, take my life, right? That's what I say. It's like receipts. Like there's so many receipts for what happened to me. Everything I've said, you can literally look up. You can look up the magazine cover with don't matter, a 50 Cent on the cover of it. I remember this too. He was on the cover of one of the hip hop magazines, and he had handcuffs. One was around his wrist, and the other one was hanging, and it was a big bag of money on the floor. And he was just like, and that was another clue that I was sold into like this trafficking or whatever. Again, I'm just a fan. I was just a fan, like, hey, how you doing? But because, I cared so much and maybe he thought the gang cared about me. He didn't. He did not. Okay. He did not. All right. Here he said, bitch, you on your own. All right. But on this magazine cover, he had this bag of money. So I guess, back then, maybe I guess the game owed him some money. He was like, basically, if you pay me the money, then I'll let Shorty go, or I'll tell them to take her off the list. And so I guess the game was like, well, man, fuck that. You know what I mean? That she just some bitch. I don't know that bitch. Okay, I ain't gonna pay no money for some random bitch. And so they kept targeting me. They kept torturing me. They kept upping the game. They kept embarrassing me. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, I'm trying to like raise my kids and like do all of this shit. And I'm still trying to like even again make it. I'm like, oh, this is some bad hazing. I'm just gonna keep trying to make my music and keep not knowing they were blacklisting, blackballing. I digress, right? So back to the lady, the villain that hit me. It never crossed my mind that they would pay somebody to hurt me, right? And so this villain lady, she's driving the same fucking car that he was promoting, right? And then I put that together after the fact. I'm like, oh, so not only because I'm just like, oh, they're paying people to follow you. I'm not even I didn't even know it was levels to this. They're like, no, bitch, they will pay these people to do whatever. I don't know how much you pay somebody to put their life on the line and like crash a whole ass vehicle into you. Now the official record, she said, "Oh, it was my medication." No, bitch. Okay, this bitch tried to kill me. Right? I'd love to see the paper trail from that. Okay. Um, but yeah, like that's a whole nother thing. Like, no, people were willing to harm themselves to hurt you. So anyway, this was in the car that upon my mother's death, I received, and just not even knowing the insurance people. Uh, I was so naive. So they're like, "Yeah, your car is total." Now, mind you, the car that my mom gave me, it had like bitch, maybe 10,000 miles. Like my mother went nowhere. She went to work. She came home, took care of her kids. So it's like a pristine car, like literally. But the insurance agent, he's like, yeah, it's totaled. You can either, we can try to fix it or you could take this money. I go to the mechanic and then they're like, yeah, yeah, it's totaled. Not even realizing like it's probably like now I know for the fact, oh, they're lying or they were lying. Because they were part of it, they slide check and they say, "Yeah, tell her that it's total because this, the whole part of this program is to destabilize you. Um, Anything that would give you stability, okay, and having a decent vehicle, that is something that will stabilize you, right? And so it's like to destabilize her, yeah, tell her that the car is fucked up. Tell her if she goes to the mechanic, tell her that you can't fix it. And so then we take the car, and then she gets another car. But then the car that I get is one that is There's a tracking device on it. It's manipulated. Everything's fucked up. It's one of their cars. It's one of their vehicles. Okay, it's fucked up, right? And so it was hard because today, again, that's what took so long to tell my story because it's things like that. It's like, well, baby, you didn't know, right? But it's embarrassing because it's like, girl, if you had all of that shit happen to you, why were you thinking these were people that you could take their word at face value? Okay. Why? Because that's how God raised me, that you just don't judge people, that you don't automatically say that people are evil. You believe that they have good in them until they prove to you otherwise. Now, after the fact, my lawyers stole my settlement, botched my case on purpose. I'm sure Tory Lanez knows a little bit about that. All right, Jay-Z, Rock Nation. Okay. All these celebrities getting in the middle of my everyday life affairs for shits and giggles so I can never achieve my purpose because they need me in this enslaved prison again. So it's like, no, you write that song and then I'll take that idea and then I'll make money off of it. Okay? Love to see you lie. Eminem and Rihanna. I wrote that. I still have it in my notebook. Um, but that's what took me so long to tell my story because again, I've been to police, I've been to FBI. My own family wouldn't help me. Um, my children were trafficked in the system. I'm raised up. I have my own daughter targeting me. They're paying my daughter to tear. Yeah, like um, I'm in a whole nother state, and it's even worse. Like, girl, why would you move to the state where all of your where they are, and they could really like get you? Because part of me thought that again, if I could say something, or I could reason, or I could, I was still trying to see the best. I was still trying to make the best. Because that's how God raised me. And by the time I realized, like, no, baby, they're demonic. They worship the devil. No, baby, they're doing this to a lot of people. And there's no reasoning behind it. It's just because they can. All right. And you have a lot of people intimidated by you and your gifts. And so, yeah, they're going to sabotage you. And yeah, they're going to steal from you. And yeah, when you make a YouTube channel because, you know, they sabotage your efforts to get a job and to work and um, even trying to work in the industry or whatever, they blacklist you. They say, oh, don't hire her. Don't. Okay. Because they're trying to keep you contained so they can torture you. Yeah. Um, it's embarrassing, it's hurtful, it's humiliating. You spend all of half of 2024 and you think like, "Oh my god, look what they did a president, they did him like he did me and he understands and he gets it and he's preaching. He's like, "Yeah, I understand. I get it. They did it to me, and so I'm going to make sure that it doesn't happen to you and I'm going to stop them from what they're doing to you." And then to watch him go through his whole campaign playing the music of your abuser that put you on the targeting list. Remember after the assassination, Trump came to his rally to Many Men by 50 Cent. 50 Cent played Many Men, okay? After Trump got the attempted, I said assassination, assassinated. It was attempted assassination, so that may be something, you know. Um, but 50 was trolling and Trump came out to that song on his and even then I didn't make the connect. I thought that meant like, yeah, that means he's going to stand up for me. He's going to take me off of the list. and not even in the legal side. Like, it's been 20 years. I'm a grown ass woman. This is from my 20s. I'm in my 40s now. Half of my life has been stolen, taken. I did a whole bid, a whole prison bid for nothing. Like, for nothing. And so even when he came out to the music of my abuser, I didn't think that that meant that he was co-signing, or I thought that that meant like, yeah, I got your back. I don't know. When he sat there with Barack Obama, who was one of the most vicious, okay, abusers, who turned up my targeting and torture to like 100% because he was best friends with Jay-Z and Beyonce and Kanye and all these people, Kim, and they laugh and they giggle and they torture people like this is what they do because you know. But even when he sat there giggling, I didn't even think. I'm like, yeah, no, because he told a lot of the victims, he's like, no, I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to stand up for you. And so after the inauguration, when that didn't happen, it's just like, wow. I go outside and all my gang stalkers are they're ready, they're waiting. I got like 50 people to one, I go to one corner in the park, it's like 50 agents, like, like, hi, we're still here. Like gremlins and shit, and so there are certain chat groups and accounts that I follow, and I was connecting with them and they're like, yeah, people are like, yeah, I'm still here, I'm still being targeted. And so there's this morning period. So that's why, not that anybody cared or noticed or gave a damn. They were telling everybody like, "Oh, she's lazy." She's like, "No, I'm in mourning because I've been psychologically, physically tortured and harassed for damn near 20 years. I'm a little tired as I should be. I'm trying to conserve. I'm trying to take care of myself um here, and it suddenly is not as important to be here for people that some don't even aren't even concerned about what I'm going through, if I'm okay, or they're just here to consume. So no, it wasn't important to like be here, but I felt like it was important to tell you the truth because I had been saying I would do that. I've been saying all since I started this channel. Like, oh, one day I'm going to tell you, one day I'm going to tell you. And part of the psychological torture is to silence the victims so they never say anything. Um, and so as I sat down to do what I thought was going to be like a royal psychic reading, here I am talking about this, and hallelujah, praise God, glory to be the highest. Because every time I tried to speak up in years before, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do it on this day. Oh, that I'm going to do it on that day." And they would say, "Oh, I'm going to kill you," or they would literally try to, right? "I'm going to do this and that. You better not go live. You better not go." So I see how God just arranged it to where, you know, they couldn't like, okay, it's like, no, you're going to do it now. It's like, so, um, that's my story. Um, I'm going to, uh, post a short of another TI that I know that is a little bit better at explaining in what do you call it? Uh, the fine details, okay, about this program and what they're doing to Americans. So it'll give you a more precise spectrum. Each case is different. Again, everybody is brought into the system differently. Some by, again, whistleblowers through work, some because they're in the penal system, some by family members that work in government, some by elite, okay, elite people in the music industry like myself. Some advance from that to being targeted directly by the president. myself. All right. Um, and it's very hurtful. It's very embarrassing. And a lot of victims, that's why they don't tell their stories because it is hurtful. It is embarrassing because you're like, I couldn't protect myself. And the people that were supposed to protect you, um, they don't, or they're paid not to. And so, okay. So, glory be to God. Thank you for protecting me this long. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for everything you made me to be. Thank you for protecting my children. Thank you for keeping me in my right mind. Um, Thank you that the weapons form, but they will not prosper. I thank you for justice. I thank you for victory over the situation. I thank you that every intricate part of the system will be destroyed and everyone along with it who took part in it. All this will be dismantled and all of these demonic forces will be exposed. I thank you for your love. I thank you that I am a child of God. I thank you for your teachings. I thank you for scripture. I just thank you. I am a testament. If you're not a believer, and you have your right to believe in whatever, but if you've ever needed proof that God is real or that, the Holy Spirit and He is, and it doesn't mean that uh, that makes you immune to bad things happening. Okay, we know bad things happen all over the world. Um, And I don't think it's really fair to put that on God, right? I think the people that do bad things, that should really be put on them. But I am a living testimony and a testament that God is good and God is merciful and that his angels will keep you and protect you even in the most horrific situations. And I thank him and I give him honor and I give him praise and I give him reverence. And I hope that if you are not a believer, that you become a believer by this testimony and this statement, and that you too will decide at this moment to give your life over to God. I don't care how bad it is, how far gone you think it is, how deep it is. Stay here, stay with us. Don't give up. You're here for a reason, you're here for a purpose. And you living and breathing is evidence of that. And if I can make it, you can too. And I'm going to do that as long as God gives me the strength. All right. I thank you, God, for this moment. I thank you, God, for truth. I thank you, God, for transparency. And I ask you all to stand by me, to advocate for me, to support my channel. Definitely donate because, again, I'm targeted on all of my platforms. You see, I have about 4 channels, but they're all sabotaged, they're all manipulated. So that's why financial donations are very, very, very important so that I'm able to take care of myself, take care of my family, um, to even just have a fund, all right, so that I can seek legal representation. Feel free to forward this to any investigative reporter, all right? Take it and just send it out, okay? Um, Here, because I do need the help. The finding help that hasn't been corrupted is very hard because we have a government and then we have a shadow government that is very demonic, very evil, the deep state. And they're hurting a lot of people, a lot of innocent people, a lot of innocent children. All right. And I just want all of us to be saved. I want all of us to be free. But those that are still here, I'm thanking God for us. To God be the glory. Amen. One.